Hello everyone and welcome to Sympathy for Charlie. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because we just heard in the case management meeting that there might be some motions filed, and I only know about these motions in limine because of Katherine's trial and all of the motions that were filed through the state to prevent Katherine Magbanua's defense team from trying to elicit sympathy for Katherine Magbanua from the jury. And it just got me thinking that Charlie's defense team could possibly try to get sympathy, just like Katherine's defense team did, to try to use things to make the jury feel sorry for her. And that was pretty much what her whole defense was based around. Sympathy for Katherine. You know, how could such a sweet girl do this? And I want to go ahead and play some clips from the motions that the state filed towards Katherine, which kind of included mentioning her children or continuing to talk about her mother or the health of her lawyers. And thank God, you know, I really do wish Chris DeCoste and Tara Kouas well. So glad that they're doing well and their health is okay. And I don't want to minimize any suffering or pain that anyone has gone through whatsoever. And I honestly do hear Tara Kouas when she wants Katherine's family left out of this. And I do want to leave them out of this. That's why I do not look at Katie's phone calls. I want to keep it relevant to Charlie's phone calls as well. As I play this clip, I just want you to notice that Charlie's team might do the same thing. They might kind of use his child as sympathy, or, you know, Charlie doesn't get to see his child, or how long has he been incarcerated, or, you know, jail conditions, or by mentioning what a great doctor he was, or that he's such a good person in the community, or whatever they want to use to try to elicit sympathy, get sympathy through the jury towards Charlie. So I want to just send it to this clip right now of tactics that Katie used in her trial, Katie's defense team used in her trial, and how the state tried to prevent that. And I'm going to send it to that clip right now.
I got to see some documents from the Leon County courts, and I accessed those on judicial.clerk.leon.florida.us, and I just clicked on high profile cases. These docs were filed by the state to prevent bias for sympathy towards Katherine from the jury. Let me just jump right into it. The state believes the defendants may attempt to introduce evidence, make reference to, argue, or otherwise infer that the jury should consider the circumstances surrounding the defendant Katherine Magbanua's arrest. So I mentioned that in a video before, that they have mentioned the arrest in the prior trial in October, and of course the state did object. Similarly, the state believes the defendant may attempt to introduce evidence about Katherine Magbanua's children, and I will not go into it out of respect for Katherine and her children. These things are meant to elicit sympathy for Katherine from the jury. The introduction of such evidence is irrelevant to the charges and the facts material to prove them. While sympathy and compassion are earnest sentiments, they are not deemed proper elements of counsel's argument to the jury, and therefore it is improper for counsel to appeal to the sympathy of the jury, either directly or indirectly, when evidence is likely to accumulate emotional response rather than a rational decision. A danger of unfair prejudice exists. The circumstances surrounding Ms. Magbanua's arrest, barring any admissions to law enforcement, are irrelevant. So too is any mention of Ms. Magbanua's children or developmental issues. The purpose of the introduction of such evidence would only be improper to attempt to elicit sympathy for the defendant. An ordinary objection during the trial, even if sustained with proper instructions to the jury, will not remove such prejudicial effects from the jury. The state hereby moves the court to order the defense not to introduce evidence, make reference to or argue, or otherwise infer that the jury should consider facts only intended to elicit sympathy for Magbanua. So this document is meant to be backup to the state when Katherine's defense tries to elicit sympathy and as we can see in the past trial, it seemed to have worked. But let me know your thoughts and feelings below, and I'm going to do another video about another document about Katherine's character and some more about Luis Rivera's testimony as well.
So as you can see, they did try to make references to Katherine's children in the first and second trial, or her mother, and it didn't seem to work with the jury. The jury did not buy that Hail Mary of, you know, Katherine's mom passing away, or any other tactics, which seemed to be Katherine's whole defense was just, she didn't do it, she's a nice girl. And I think that they even made a reference to that one of her friends said that she was a square. I think Yinda Velasquez Mascaros called Katherine a square, and they were not allowed to use that. Guys, stay tuned for another video that I'm working on. It might be out by the time this video is out, and it's Katie's credibility. So it's kind of backwards now. At first we were trying to not make Katie out to be such a great person, but I think now the state is going to have to kind of prove that she's a credible person and that she's worth listening to. So I find all this very interesting, you guys, and I think that a lot of this is a little bit confusing. We've gone through so many trials, so I think it's just worth looking out for any of these motions that will probably come through in late February, in March or April, and definitely more content to come, definitely more of Charlie's phone calls. I'm going to try to protect people. I'm just interested in Donna and Charlie's phone calls because they are alleged co-conspirators, and I would not doubt that the state is probably listening to those phone calls pretty intently. So big shout out to the Tallahassee Police Department, the FBI, the Tallahassee Jail. They're doing a great job, and hopefully they're not giving Charlie too much sympathy. It sounds like he's kind of trying to talk to the guards and make a little conversation. They're trying to make sure he's okay, and he's telling them he's okay. So I'm definitely going to look out for more incidents, but it seems like Charlie's been good in jail. They could use that to elicit sympathy too, like he's a great inmate and great, all around great guy, but there's definitely been some character evidence that Charlie has that could definitely come into play. So guys, thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing. I know that my videos are short, but I definitely just want to keep it tied to like one main idea, and then I'll work on another video once I get another idea. I just don't want to speculate too much. I know that there's a lot to speculate, but we can kind of look at the past to see how things could go for this trial. So thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing. I hope everyone's having a wonderful holiday and a happy new year. Thank you so much.